What up? What up? I'll give it a minute or two, let a few people get in here. I'm just going to tap in with everybody tonight. Probably won't be going live tomorrow as I usually do on Sunday. Going to be out of town most of the day, so. But I figured I'd check in with you guys, just sitting on the porch swing, chilling. What up? What up? Happy Saturday evening, everybody. Too hot in the lab tonight, so I'm chilling on the porch swing outside. Boy, that. So tonight, sorry the camera's all wobbly. Just sitting out here in the front, chilling. So what are we going to talk about tonight? There was the Ryan Garcia incident this week. Again, there's a new gas tax getting ready to come into effect in Cali. Great. More taxes. What's up, Greedy and Scandalous? How you doing tonight, bro? And I just dropped a new video on the Chow Hall melee in LA County. You have to check that one out. I think that's a really good story. Got some good images of what the Chow Hall looks like in LA County. So I had to tell a story. I know, right? So, welcome in, everybody. What do you guys want to talk about tonight? Holla. What's up, Coco? Yeah, probably do about a half an hour tonight. I got an early morning tomorrow. We're heading out of town, so welcome in, everybody. Appreciate everybody tapping in. It's just a hot Southern California night, as usual. It's that time of year, though, you know. I don't like the heat at all. And gas prices are about to jump up like 90 cents in Cali. That's exciting. Ryan Garcia tripped out again, dropping a bunch of racial slurs earlier in the week on a podcast. What's up, Joel? What's up, Art? Yeah, new gas tax going. I think it goes into effect at midnight tomorrow. 90 cents more per gallon than it already is. It's already the highest gas. You could check that out. Deleted account. I'm not going to repeat. He was using the N-word and stuff like that, though. So, I'm in Cali. Thank you. The old head. Isaac. Almost got me there, RP. Good job. Hey, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We're getting close to 1,500 subs. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate you. We're really starting to build this thing. I appreciate it. I'm in North Carolina. I have been to North Carolina actually. I used to be um, an over-the-road truck driver, so I've been to everywhere. Some of the Northeast I'd never hit, but everywhere else. I don't know if Biden's going to make it to the election, TA. To be honest with you, so I don't know. We'll see about that, but. Yeah, that was a good try. What's up, Ken? I appreciate. Thank you, thank you, thank you squared. I appreciate you subscribing. Yeah, we're like 15 subs away from 1,500. So shout out to you guys. I appreciate it. If you're new in here, be sure to check out that video I just dropped on the melee in the Chow Hall, LA County, with the K11 inmates. I think a lot of you guys will find that one amusing. Uh, they were the transgender inmates, and yeah, it got it got pretty crazy for a few minutes. So, but yeah, that's a banger of a video. So yeah, now I do local. Most people know it as a yard jockey. I'm a yard hustler, a lead yard hustler. I altogether I did about 8 years. Majority of that was county time though. I was on um, I was on probation in 3 different counties at the same time: San Bernardino, Riverside, LA, and I went back and forth. And every time I caught a violation, I had to go through all 3 counties and get a new violation. And finally, I got fed up and said, "Hey, just send me to prison." And they gave me a 2-year deal, and I did every minute of that 2 years. Uh, I couldn't stay out of trouble while I was in there, even though honestly I was trying really hard to. But California prison is a very unique animal, and uh, you know, I'm in Southern California, the Inland Empire. One thing I really enjoyed about North Carolina though was the cigarettes are super cheap out there. Every time I'd pass through North Carolina when I was trucking, I would be sure to stock up. As much cash as I had was how many packs I was going to buy, basically, or cartons, because there are definitely a lot there. Virginia, some of those places in the east are definitely a lot cheaper. But no, I am not. I look healthy to be a trucker. Actually, when I came off the road, I ended up losing a bunch of weight. Uh, and that originally, when I started this channel, it was a fitness channel, weight loss. Uh, but I came to the conclusion people don't like homework; they just want to hear a story, basically. So it's kind of pivoted to the 3 pillars are family, fitness, and freedom. And I do the gym thing. I tell war stories, and it's about people getting their lives together, basically, and getting clean, freeing themselves from addiction. So if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I definitely appreciate you checking in. No, that's not true, Joel. And like I said, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. We're quickly coming up on 1,500 subs, so thank you guys. I appreciate you. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Like I said, there's the Ryan Garcia thing happened. I don't know what's going on with that guy. I hope he's going to be okay, but it sounds like he's gotten into a lot of trouble um, with the boxing league and everything now. And there's no room in society to be talking so out of pocket. The thing about the internet is it's forever. So, once you say it on the internet, it ain't going nowhere. But, I hope he's able to get his stuff together because he has a promising, yes, yes, you do. The wifey, sexy Latina, says he's healthy because I make sure he eats good. Yes, she does. She takes great care of me. And I lost my train of thought. What was I saying now about Ryan Garcia? I hope he's able to get it together. What's up, Q? Yeah, so, but you guys definitely need to check out that new video about the melee in the Chow Hall. I think I'm going to probably be working on something maybe tomorrow night, just depending on how tomorrow goes. I'm going to be out of town all day with the grandkids and stuff. So, um, oh, that's cool. Thank you. Uh, he must be smart if he's going to the Air Force. You got to get really good test scores, as I understand it, to get in there. So, the what do I think about the state of the U.S. economy currently? I'm concerned. I'm concerned. There's there a lot of countries are trying to move away from the petrodollar, and that's very concerning. Inflation and everything, like everything's gotten so expensive, and like I said, they're getting ready to do that new gas tax in California starting on Monday. Like that's basically another dollar a gallon. Like where does it stop with all these taxes? But you know, it, things are messy right now. I hope that they get better. Um, you know, but yeah, like I said, I'll probably be working on another video tomorrow night. I don't really have a topic in mind. I thought about doing one on uh, lifers that got out of prison and are in the workforce now, and maybe a little advice on how to act around these people because they're uh, definitely can be on another level. After doing decades on level 4 prisons in California, they don't see things quite the way uh, you know a normal civilian does. And the thing is, when you know, I'll just say this: with a lot of these guys, it's ultra respectful. They're very respectful. They don't talk out of pocket, and they're that way until they're not anymore. And when they're not anymore, then watch out. That's all I can say is watch out because they've already done decades in the Department of Corrections, and they already know what that's like. So losing a job or something isn't necessarily a deterrent to them and respect levels.
Okay, don't put me on the camera.
Okay.
So let me just fix your beer real fast.
Okay.
Okay.
We're getting a quick grooming here, guys.
Yeah, that was so good.
From the sexy Latina.
You're cute. He's gonna put some ponytails on it. There we go.
So, what did I do my time for? It was drug related, possession for sales, and was the controlling case. And, I did a bunch of county time on that. Can you put that?
Now we're just gonna take one home, baby. I'm watching still.
Hold on just a second, guys. I'm going to pause for just a second. Talk amongst yourself for just a moment, okay?
I take toy home real fast.
we're gonna have the rental tomorrow. So we'll just have it done.
Huh?
If you're okay with it.
What's taking you to rental?
Saying you should still have something you could.
Whatever? Oh, the car? Oh, Bart, do you want to take the car?
I mean, if you
I
don't
mean,
mind.
you're not gonna have a car tomorrow, right? So I mean, just in case something happens, you have something. Just when we're on the way home, you can just come over and meet us.
Is there gas in the car?
Yeah, it's almost full tank.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. I'll come
Yeah,
meet you.
just be real careful because no tank.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. Take car.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Family stuff, you know how it is. So, let's see. So, yeah, back to what I was saying. The controlling case was possession for sales. Yeah, I was probably I was probably moving somewhere in the neighborhood of half a pound a week of crystal. On a good week, maybe more. On a bad week, maybe a little less. But uh, so, somewhere in the neighborhood of an ounce to an ounce and a half a day. I was pushing. I had runners. I didn't sell it out of the house. People would call me and say, hey, I need this. Okay, cool, I'm on the way. Type of thing. And then I would set it up to where everything was out of town. Like everything was in Orange County and I was living in San Bernardino. So, I'd like schedule appointments basically. Like, okay, I'll swing by at 2 and drop off that quarter ounce with you. I'll stop by at 4 and I'll drop off the half ounce with you, type of thing. And like that's kind of how it was. And honestly, when I caught my controlling case, I was using, and to be perfectly honest, I fell asleep at a traffic light in Los Angeles, Pico Rivera. Okay, so what is a half pound worth? At that time, excuse me. At that time, I was getting a quarter pound for $1,600 to $1,800, and
All right, Bob. Thank you.
no problem. Be
Bye,
careful.
Papa, love you.
Love you too.
So if she had trouble starting it, does she move it a certain way?
Yeah, just hold on. Give me another quick second, guys. I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
I didn't get in.
So,
Oh.
the best thing I've found, okay, if you want to start, take it as you like pop it back in the fridge. A lot of times they don't. If they don't, what's been working for me lately is put it in neutral, let it roll a little bit,
And then start.
start. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, you guys be careful, okay? There isn't anything in the middle right there. Yeah, hold on.
Thank you. All right, guys. Love you.
I love you too, babe. Tell Dean, we don't need this.
Yeah, we do.
No, it's got the. Oh, that's right.
All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, my daughter was leaving, so
I
had
love you,
to.
babe.
So TA says, "Hey, I appreciate the elevator music there, Joel. Good looking out." Yeah, Coco, and especially to be woken up by the sheriffs when I was asleep at the light. TA says, "How much does a normal user use per day? Does anyone know?" I was, I had a,
Don't tell the dog something?
please.
Stormy now. Outside.
I had a dealer's habit, and I was using a lot. So I was probably using 5 to 7 grams a day. That's unusual, though. Most people don't use nearly that much. a lot of people that I know that used might buy like a gram and it might last them a couple of days. Uh, it just depends on the habit though and the availability, to be perfectly honest. So, well, I would break that up, TA. I wouldn't sell it as a whole. I would sell quarter ounces at like 250 to 300, just depending on who it was, or half ounces at around 5. So I would probably, I think I figured I was making $400 to $500 profit a day at that time, at my peak. So thank you. Uh, yeah, my wife's the best. So yeah, I would say in the range of $300 to $500 free and clear a day, not including my money to re up basically. So yeah, the money was good, and unfortunately, I didn't save any of it. I was living that fast life and uh, throwing money around like it was coming out of my butt basically. So and this was 2003, 2004, around then. So I mean, it was good money. You missed the elevator music cue. I set the phone down for a minute because Toy was leaving. So, and then yeah, there's been quite a bit of chat. So, but yeah, there was a lot of money in it. There was a lot of danger in it as well. You know, I stepped on some toes in Orange County when I went down there and undercut a lot of people on their prices, and a lot of people didn't like me down there. I mean, the people that were supplying the people that I started supplying definitely didn't like me. So, uh, yeah, it was. I'd usually have somebody ride with me to watch my back, and you know, I carried those pew pews, if you will. Um, and I actually popped at somebody that was tripping. Uh, and luckily, I ended up leaving that pew pew with somebody the day before they busted me. So, so that was lucky on my part. Okay, there's the math on it. Okay, I appreciate that, TA. Yeah, it like I said, it was easy come, easy go though. The money was just coming in so fast that like I didn't take it seriously. I wish I would have, and I would have buried some of that money somewhere. I mean, obviously I wouldn't want to put it in a bank account or something because it'd be traceable. But like I could have pretty easily bought a house or something had I played my cards right. But at the time I just thought that it was going to last forever, and plus I had a habit, so I wasn't exactly thinking straight. But yeah, it was some crazy times. Yeah, I got busted several times. I ended up uh, I was on probation in 3 different counties, not necessarily drug charges, but different charges. And, you know, yeah, my controlling case, the possession for sale, the original possession for sales. Yeah, I fell asleep at a stoplight in Pico Rivera. and the sheriffs were knocking on my window with their flashlight, and I looked up, and I just put my head back down like this has got to be a bad dream, you know. So we're still watching. I don't know about that. So yeah, that's kind of how that went down. But you know, I was like I said, I was on probation in 3 different counties, and like I just the most I got caught with when I got caught that night in Pico, I had the let's see, okay, I had picked up 2 zips, which is about 56 grams. Uh, I, shout out to you, Greedy. I appreciate you still being here. Um, so I when I left San Bernardino, I had 56 grams. The cops weighed it with my digital scale, and they said that it was 50 grams. So either I used 6 grams in a couple of hours, which I don't think I did, uh, but or they were messing around. By the time I hit court, the paperwork said 8 grams. L.A. County Sheriff's for you, Pico Rivera Station. 42 grams, 44 grams, no, 48 grams disappeared. I may have done a gram or two along the way because I was tired that night and I really shouldn't have been out trying to go do that. But there was a big money deal on the table, and I kind of broke some of my own rules to try to go get that money, you know. But, you know, you live and learn, I guess, ended up catching a felony on that one. Now, that wasn't my first felony. I had felonies in the 90s as well, but okay, real life, Walter. Yeah, I know a couple of people actually. I won't speak on them, but I know a couple of people that did it for a really long time, and you know, they've managed to start legitimate businesses and stuff through that. So there are people out there that can do it like that, but unfortunately, I wasn't. I tried. What happened was I was when I really got rolling. I was working at the happiest place on earth, uh, and there was another guy I knew. He was working at Knott's Berry Farm. Not anymore. It's not hard to find work anymore because the felonies are old. They were. It was at the time, but yeah. So I was working at the happiest place on earth. They like to hit me with copyright when I say the actual name of that. Mickey's house. And there was another guy that was working over there where Snoopy worked, or where Snoopy lived, and he introduced me to some people down there, and that's kind of how that got rolling. And I had a good job at Disney at that time. I was making relatively decent money, union job and all that stuff. And like I ended up quitting Disney because I was losing money going to work. As funny as that sounds, but I kind of wish I never quit Disney because they had stock options and stuff. I'd probably be a lot better off as far as being set up for retirement if I had stayed there. But after the live, no gym tonight. I got an early morning tomorrow, so once I'm done, I'll probably get cleaned up and go to bed. It's gonna be an early night because I gotta get up at a normal hour. As a lot of you know, I work nights, so getting up at like 8 in the morning is uncivilized to me. But yeah, we're heading out of town for a cheerleading thing with my granddaughter, so ought to be a great time. No, I don't do any of that stuff anymore, TA. I never really liked pot, to be honest with you. Um, when I was selling it, I would always roll a joint every time I picked up when I got a new pound in. And, like if it was good pot at that time in the early 2000s or even in the 90s, like I just felt really stupid on that stuff. So, yeah, I didn't, never really enjoyed that. The alcohol, I could do with it or do without it, but I haven't had a drink in several years now. So, and we're coming up on August the 9th, I'll be 20 years sober off of the meth. So we'll have to do a special live or something for that. Um, but to be able to sleep. Yeah, I hear you, Joe. Uh, you know what? You're funny, Joe. Um, how did I get clean? What would happen back in those days? They've changed the laws now, but uh, I would get busted and go to the county, and I'd get clean for a little bit for a few months or whatever, and I'd always say I wasn't going to use again, and then I would get out and thank you. I would get out and I would use again because I kept hanging around the same people that I was hanging around when I was using. So when I finally got my prison term, it wasn't what a lot of people had told me that prison was going to be. Uh, it was really active the time that I was in there, '04, '05 into '06. And there was a bunch of riots and like it was crazy. And I'm not saying that I was like scared straight or anything because I know how to do time. And at that point in my life, I had, like over the previous 5 or 6 years, I was in more than I was out. So that was something that I was accustomed to. But, I missed birthdays, I missed Christmas, I missed Thanksgiving with my family. And I basically realized that, what am I doing with my life? So when I got out, what I did was, I already had like a year and a half, about a year and a half because I had credit going in. But so I got out and I told the parole officer I need to go to a residential program, and I need help. And the PO told me that he wouldn't authorize it. So I went on my own and figured out how to do that. And I went to a program. And to be honest with you, I walked out of the first program, and then I walked out of the second program. And finally on the third program, I figured it out. And I took the knowledge that they gave me in that program, and I continue to use that to this day. So, yeah, that's kind of how I did it, the short version. And remember, guys, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Like I said, we're coming up on 1,500 here real quick, so hopefully we can hit that tonight. I appreciate everybody's participation and everything. So TA says, do you have any long-term health issues like lung or teeth or any other issues from years of meth use? I don't have any teeth at this point. I got dentures done. I don't like them. So yeah, the meth pretty much rotted them out. And like I got tired of the toothaches and the Ambisol and all that other shit that you use when you've got a toothache. So I took the plunge and did the denture thing, and yeah, I didn't like it. So uh, they don't fit well. I'm sure I could probably have them adjusted or something, but you know, it is what it is on that. As far as they had told me I had COPD when I was heavier, and I started going to the gym and I lost like 50 pounds, and all of a sudden I breathe well again. I mean, I'm a 50-year-old smoker, basically 52, and I've been smoking for 30 years. So I mean, I'm sure there's some lung damage as well, but overall, I'm doing all right, I guess. No other issues. Like I go to the doctor somewhat regularly, not as often as they'd like me to go, but they want to get me in that office as often as they can. But them copays are killer. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. Uh, so yeah, make sure you guys go check out that video on the Chow Hall Melee in LA County. Uh, that I think that's a really great story, and yeah, you guys need to check that one out because that's a different one. What did Carl say? Another good question, TA. Wow, you're killing it with the questions tonight, bro. I appreciate you. TA says, did your drug use affect any of your kids to use or not use drugs? None of my kids use drugs. So, uh, so yeah, that's something me and my wife are very proud of. They don't smoke cigarettes. They don't do any of that stuff. So, I really obviously frown upon that stuff because I know what that stuff does to you. Excuse me. So, yeah, that's one of our greatest achievements is that none of them do any of that stuff. So, I'm very proud of them and shout out to them for that as well. Because they're all grown up now and they're able to make their own decisions, but they choose wisely. So, yeah, that's that's one of my kids right there. No interest whatsoever. That's why she gets the wrench because she's sober, and she's very intelligent. They, all of my moderators are. They're all family. So, and you know what? While we're talking about moderators, let me give a shout out to the mods, Coco, Q, and Ramona, and I can't think of my son's screen name. Torta something. The cartel and the biker gangs. What's that type individuals that you would deal with as your suppliers? It started off like the biker stuff, and then it quickly moved to more of the cartel type of stuff, we'll say. Um, everything was through gangs. Torta Shaker, yeah, shout out to Torta Shaker as well, my other mod. But yeah, and it's the same in Cali as far as that goes. I think it's more cartel controlled these days. Everything, as I understand it, you get is coming from some organization. People aren't making it in their bathtub anymore like they used to. So stuff's getting made in super labs, and with the fentanyl epidemic, like it's dangerous out there. Like there's so many overdoses that are happening, and like just going to the market with my wife earlier, like I look around the store, and like I said, I work nights, so like everything that we do tends to be more geared towards the evening time. And, just walking around the supermarket, like half the people in there are on something. Like I see it. I mean, that was my specialty was reading people back in the day in order to garner new clientele, I guess you would say. So, did you ever have any of the violence from one of those organizations directed at you or your family? No, I never did. I never did, but I always took care of business, and I was educated in the game well of the do's and the don'ts, and you know, being respectful, communicating, uh, not biting off more than I could chew as far as how much weight I was trying to move, and just like even though I'm not involved in all of that stuff anymore, I'm still pretty well respected by most of those guys that are still doing that, even though I don't partake in it anymore. Hey, also be sure to hit that like button while you're in here, guys, if you would. I appreciate that. It helps to. Was there a mentor that you got into the drug dealing business? Was there a mentor that got you? No, not necessarily, TA. Hey, what's up, Kennedy? Not necessarily. My sister had an old man that was pretty heavy in the game, and I learned some stuff from him, and I learned some stuff from some others as well that were involved in that, and I was associated with gang members and stuff, and a lot of people schooled me on what was expected as far as doing business, and just how to act, how to be very respectful to people, and it's all respect until it's not. Basically, that's a prison thing, but you
Which
know,
soft brush?
huh?
Which soft brush?
Soft brush?
The black soft brush? What'd you do there?
It's in that box by the bathroom. So yeah, that's kind of how I was brought up in it and taught, if you will. So yeah, be sure to subscribe if you guys are new. Like I said, we're getting close to 1,500 subs. Shout out to you guys for that. I really appreciate that. Like, we started this thing about a year ago, and I remember I was stuck on like 21 subs forever. And then I think I dropped the video getting jumped in LA County Jail, and it just hasn't stopped from there. So, were you more fearful of getting attacked on the street or in prison? I would say that's a really good question, actually. In prison, in California prison, uh, hey, I appreciate that, me. Shout out to you, man. I appreciate you tapping in. Um, as far as that question, TA, different circumstances, I guess. You know, the thing about prison is everything is broken up. It's segregated. I don't want to say racially, but organizationally. Uh, and there's like a certain amount of protection with that. But at the same time, if you mess up, those are the same people that are going to take you out. So there was always that thought in your head, like, not to mess up, basically. But on the streets, there were some people that probably didn't like the fact that I was breathing. So I would say maybe the danger was a little bit higher on the streets just because of the way I went in and stepped on some toes. You know what I mean? But both situations definitely dangerous, and in both situations there were times where I was definitely concerned for my safety. Me says, did you click up with the whites in prison? And if so, did you have friends of different nationalities, ethnicities on the streets inside? Had to go with your people? Yes, I did click up with the whites, and I definitely have friends of different ethnicities. I have family of different ethnicities, but yeah, but at the same time, even in prison, I would make small talk with other races at times. Uh, I actually worked out with the Southsiders a lot on the lower levels because they were a lot more disciplined in their routines and stuff in the places I was. Now, as I got to the higher levels, when I got to the 3 yard and ADSEG in particular, uh, the discipline was there with everybody basically. Uh, it's all, the different levels are like day and night. Um, on a 1 or 2 yard, a lot of times it's a fist fight. On some 3 yards and ADSEG, like you're getting stabbed. So, whole different world. Yeah, absolutely. Would you say are the most powerful? Like those those groups that you mentioned. I refer to them as the big four. Uh, I don't necessarily speak particulars on those guys. Nothing but respect for those organizations. But uh, yeah, they're the first two you named are definitely up there. Yeah, there's four groups in California that pretty much control everything. One from the north, one from the south, one for the whites, and one for the blacks. And yeah, those organizations are nothing to play with. You need some bussy? What's that mean? I don't understand that. So do me a favor and smash that like button while you guys are in here if you would. And also definitely check out that video on the Chow Hall Melee. It's a LA County jail story, and I think it's a really good one. So it don't have the catchy words in the title that's going to draw a lot of attention, but I think it's a great story. So definitely check it out. And others. Yeah. The first four that you mentioned there, me. The can you talk about the story? It basically was a melee. A melee is like when it's smaller numbers. A riot is when it's bigger numbers. And we were serving chow, and the transgender inmates in LA County, they're called the K11s. They're also homosexuals or K11s too. No, I don't. Top. So yeah, K11 is like a keep away. They're not general population, and they were coming through to be fed, and there was one of the more flamboyant members of the K11 group were, and that's a classification by LA County, K11. Got into it with one of the other guys that was serving, and it turned into like a food fight / melee. It got shut down pretty quickly, but Um, yeah, it was a pretty wild situation, and you have to realize in the more like Pruno top, but they can be me. Uh, I I try to be respectful to everybody, especially when you're incarcerated. Some of them are for sure. Um, you know, giving advice to a young man about to go to prison. Hypothetically, let's say he is white and 25 years old. What advice would you give him to survive 10 to 15 year stint? That's a great question. I would say somebody that young with that long of a sentence, if you're not gang related, then you know, do everything that you can, every program that's available to you. There's a lot of programs now in the California Department of Corrections where, if, say, like, I was watching a video on this the other day, uh, where, like, if you get your GED, they take 6 months off your sentence. If you take a class for, like, electrician or something, every test that you take, you get, like, a month off your sentence. So what I would suggest is stay out of the politics, mind your business, don't get into other people's business because that could be deadly. And do yourself to the best of your ability. You're gonna have to ride with your people, and that's just what it is in there. But keep yourself out of the politics. Don't gamble. Don't do drugs. Don't indulge in any of that stuff. Sign up for every program you can sign up for, especially the ones that reduce your sentence. And hopefully in 5 to 7 years, you'll be back on the streets. That's the best advice that I could offer as far as that goes. You start getting into the politics and taking credit on drugs and stuff. It's a good way to get holes poked in your body in California. So, yeah, I would say that's the best advice I could offer. Men be forced to join a gang in prison to survive. There's a big misconception with joining gangs in prison in California. The big four basically are the only gangs recognized by the state of California. Now he would have to ride with a car, which basically would be like, say if you're from the Inland Empire, like I ran with the IE car with the Woods. And, like, because those are the people you're familiar with. If you're talking about a certain location, chances are they're going to understand what you're talking about. They're the homeboys basically. But as far as joining a gang, no. And but you're gonna ride with your homeboys basically. Like if you're on a general population yard, you can't say you're gonna do your own thing. You're gonna ride with the homeboys. Now you could elect to go to the PC side. No, it's just it's like the saying was you're riding with your car, or you're riding in the car. So, and back in my time they would say somebody has the keys, so they're driving the car. You know what I mean? But I'm sure it could be done, Top. There's a lot of drugs in there. I don't think it's okay to do it, period. I think it ruins a lot of people's lives. So I definitely wouldn't recommend it. And if you guys are new in here, be sure to subscribe. I appreciate everybody. And I appreciate all the really good comments. I think at the hour mark, we'll probably go ahead and kill it for the night. Like I said, I got a relatively early morning tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, TA, the one with, and that was in my time. I hear they're doing things a little differently now, but I was never in the feds. Top. Yeah, I hear they're doing it a little differently now. There used to be like a key holder or a llavero. Uh, no biker gang. So yeah, are the Togan and Samoans in LA County, etc. state? Uh, not very deep at all, but those guys, uh, those are some really cool guys. They don't have big numbers. I think when I was in CDC in San Bernardino, they had a Fed tank with some. There was a bunch of Samoans in there, but in state, I've never seen a bunch of them in one place. Their car's typically one of the smaller ones, but great people, super great people, and they are the epitome of super respectful until it's time to not be anymore. And when you cross those guys, watch out. There's not a lot of them, but man, those guys are with the business. No, I don't know anybody personally that did feds. Virtual reality in prison to simulate 10 years of jail time in 1 hour. That's interesting. That's a very interesting concept. So Foggy City Dave, so would that, using that virtual reality, would they be 10 years older? Or, because otherwise, what would the punishment be? If, you know what I mean? Like you do something worthy of 10 years. I'm not saying, I don't want to see anybody do 10 years in prison, but if you're convicted and you have 10 years and you could serve that in an hour, what would change your mind about continuing to do crime? It's definitely an interesting concept, though. Stimulate their brain to feel like 10 years. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. It definitely sounds interesting. All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on that hour mark. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Literally a positive for the prisoner. All right, guys. So yeah, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up here. I appreciate everybody participating tonight. Some definitely some very interesting stuff. Some great questions from some of you. I want to shout out the moderators, the Torta Shaker, uh, Ramona, Coco and Q, and Coco. You guys really make it happen, so I appreciate you guys. Remember, if you're thinking about making a change in your life and getting clean, you can do it. I believe in you. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and check out my playlist. I have 200 and something videos up already, and there's a little something for everybody. So, yeah, be sure to check those out. There's tons of videos to binge watch if that's what you want to do. Uh, like I said, if you're looking to make a change, I believe in you. You can do it. And, well, I'll see if I can get back on here tomorrow night. If not, probably Monday night. We'll see what we got going. Like I said, tomorrow's going to be a pretty busy day. So, everybody be safe. And don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing.